Hello and welcome to this edition of Context. I'm Bakhtiar Sonov, and today we turn our attention to Budapest, where an informal summit of the Organization of Turkic States is currently underway. At the invitation of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, leaders from Turkey, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan and the Secretary General of the organization have gathered at the historic Castle Garden Bazaar. This marks a significant moment of the Turkic world. For the first time ever, an observer state, Hungary, is hosting the summit. The key themes on the table include future strategic direction, regional cohesion and Hungary's ambition to position itself as a bridge between East and West. So what does this mean for the Turkic bloc's global influence? Can Hungary's role as a Western EU member deepen East-West connectivity? And how does this affect ongoing geopolitical developments in Eurasia? To discuss these issues, we are joined by Nurbollat Nushanbayev, an expert in international relations from Almaty, Kazakhstan, and Onur Erim, president of Dragonman Strategies. Thank you both for joining us on this program.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Mr. Nurbollat Nushanbayev, what is the symbolic and strategic significance of Hungary, an observer state hosting the OTS summit for the first time?
Well, I think that's very important. Also, even the topic of the summit has deep meaning. It's a meeting point between West and East. So first of all, I think this summit shows how the Turkic state organization are expanding towards Europe first. On the second side, it also shows to what extent Turkic states are becoming a bridge between not only Europe and Asia, but between the West and the East. The third, I think, it's for the first time the summit is taking place in the countries of observer states. So I hope in the near future, probably Hungary will become full member of the Turkic state organization. For the long term, it will create strategic meaning of this organization beyond the Europe.
Mr. Onur Erim, how do you interpret Hungary's aim to serve as a mediator between East and West through its growing involvement in the Turkic world?
Well, I believe Hungary would be the most natural choice, especially developing relationship between the Turkic alliance and EU, since Hungary is a full-fledged, member of the EU, and also a very active observatory member of the Turkic alliance. So I think it would be a totally natural choice. As to how this develops, all our wishes and all our aspirations are one thing, and how it actually plays out and how it actually materializes is another thing. So hopefully both sides can actually see the importance, and I'm talking about EU and the Turkic members of the Turkic alliance, can actually understand the importance of growing a strong relationship. But this will by no means will be an easy path. It will probably be full of many sabotage attempts for those who are not favoring the success of the Turkic alliance and all of its members. But it's a path to go. We're just going to take it step by step. It's not going to be a quick and swift path. But we're all hopeful, and we all should be working towards the same goal.
Mr. Nushanbayev, in your opinion, could Hungary act as a gateway for OTS countries into the European Union's institutional and financial landscape?
Definitely. When we talk about the summit in Hungary, I think it's very important to us to mention in the last 15 years the development of foreign policy of Hungary. So when Viktor Orban came to the power, he initiated the idea of foreign policy, the opening towards the East. I think now Hungary is taking kind of multi-vector foreign policy. On the one hand, having tried economic relations with the European countries within the framework of European Union. At the same time, they are expanding relations with the Turkic state organizations, becoming kind of mediator bridge between the huge territories, including Central Asian countries, other states.
So what specific sectors or projects exemplify the strategic nature of Hungary's partnership with Azerbaijan?
I would name top 3 sectors. The first is logistics, because as we have seen in the last few years, logistical hub is rising, in particular in the example of the middle corridors. The second aspect is investment. We have seen last year in Samarkand and in Central Asia, many European countries are investing in natural resources in Central Asia and the Turkic state countries. So therefore, the investment economy sector will be the number 2. Number 3, when it comes to the Hungary, of course, it's a cultural and educational aspect. So we call them softer diplomacy. So these 3 sectors will play crucial role between the Hungary and the rest of the Turkic state organization member states.
So, Mr. Erim, in your opinion, how does Hungary's relationship with Azerbaijan align with its broader foreign policy goals within the European Union and the Turkic world?
Well, to be honest with you, especially in areas of practice of foreign policy on separate issues, I am pretty sure that all member states at one point in time will have difference of opinion. Now, this is actually I believe one of the biggest challenges of for the prosperity of the OTC, for the members to find a middle way, because every country has their own issues. Every country has their own views on different matters, depending on what region they're in or what kind of a relationship they're in with other countries. So I think one of the biggest things to watch for is to be able to delicately, diplomatically, try to find a common ground between the member states when it comes to internationally, affected issues, because there's no way that these are all individual countries that they're going to see eye to eye on every different international matter. So that's going to be, I think, one of the biggest challenges as it progresses, especially in the beginning, in the growing stages of the OTC, growing into a more serious, more meaningful, both financially and politically, an alliance. This is going to be one of the main challenges. But again, it is up to the diplomats and the leaders of these countries to find a mutually agreeable terms on different issues where all countries may not necessarily see eye to eye. This is of keen importance for sure.
So, Mr. Nushanbayev, how are regional security issues being addressed within the OTS? Are there moves toward institutionalizing defense or intelligence coordination?
I think that is topic very timely. Also, within the Budapest summit, the security issues will rise surely. But I think it needs a time, it needs a step-by-step institutionalization of the organization of Turkic states. But for the long run, I think that's inevitable to have common security policies, common strategic policies. But in this case, in Budapest, is expected to launch investment fund, but I think after economic integration, economic setup institutions, surely the next topic will become common security issues, in particular intelligence sharing informations and etc. Because that's timely for all the aspects for the long run when it comes to the organizations of Turkic states in the modern world.
So, Mr. Erim, how do non-Turkic regional powers such as Russia, Iran and China view the growing visibility of the OTS?
Honestly, I would not think, and this is for a very good reason, I would not think it would be their preference for OTC to strengthen and OTC to become a more power, because for a number of reasons, both Russia and China is where the OTC region is where both Russia and China would like to be, and have been, economically head-to-head, trying to gain ground in the OTC region. So I am sure in practicality, they would not like a upcoming alliance to get stronger and to become a real player on a number of issues. So, although I'm sure they will, in sense of international diplomacy, they will try to seek every which way to be on good terms with the OTC and the OTC members. But at the end of the day, this is not something that neither of these, superpowers would like to see prosper, because again, this is a direct competition for them in exactly the region where they feel that they are actually dominating or would like to dominate. So I think the biggest challenge will come from China and Russia in order to enhance the power and the standing and the position on the table of the OTC as a whole.
Mr. Nushanbayev, it's also interesting how are Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan managing the balance between OTS cooperation and their obligations to other multilateral bodies like the Collective Security Treaty Organization or Shanghai Cooperation Organization?
To be honest, for Central Asian countries, in particular Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, OTS is a new vector of their foreign policy. Historically, it had been a cultural and ideological institution, but now they're taking full form of international organizations, has some political agendas. So therefore, it will help for Kazakhstan and the Kyrgyzstan states to balance the interest of Russia and China and many other Western powers in our region. For the long term, I think it will work for the interest of all the states in order to keep the balance of interest in our region. But I really hope probably all the other Central Asian countries will join to OTS in order to create strong basis for this organization as international institutions.
Onur, how unified are the member states, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan on key regional and international issues? Are there major points of divergence?
Honestly, I would look more into the member states' willingness and effort to resolve these differences. Of course, there are differences, and there will be differences, because these are all individual countries.
Yes.
But I have actually, for the first time in years, since the allegiance became an actual matter, I am seeing, for the first time, I am seeing the very heightened version of their willingness, each and every member state's willingness, and the amount of effort that they're putting in to iron out these differences. And I think that is what is important. That there are issues today, although maybe not many of them are not major, but there could be more major issues, in years to come. But the key factor here will be the willingness and the aspiration of the members for them to try to iron these out. That's going to be the key importance, how successful OTC will be in years to come or not. But the problems, small or big, we're always going to face it. We're going to face it today, tomorrow, and 10 years from now. That's without a doubt. Look what happened to EU. Such a strong alliance. Probably the best example of any kind of economical, political alliance in world history. Had a major crackdown with Britain exiting. And in many ways, that is much less. EU was much less of a unified alliance than the OTC is, because OTC, everybody is sharing a common history, whether distant or more near, depending on the country, and a common route to a certain degree, with, again, some of them are being much closer historically, ethnically, than others. But EU even cracked down on something like this. So the key point is, is there going to be a policy by all the OTC members to say, listen, we are stronger together, so let's always concentrate on how we can come closer, then get further apart. That's going to be the key for now, for tomorrow, and for years to come.
Mr. Nushanbayev, my last question is to you. How is the organization supporting digital transformation, energy cooperation and green development among member states? And are there flagship projects underway now?
Definitely. OTS, as an international organization, time by time, it will need changes, and it will definitely demand from the member state to find a common solution step by step. So in this period of the creation of these organizations, one of the tasks, I think, is the digitalization and using the green technology in order to expand trade routes and the innovations in order to be competitive, to make this competitive organization the global stage. I think one of the most important aspects is, in particular between Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, is using digital technologies on middle corridors. So for the long term, middle corridors, it will be symbolic logistical hub of the OTS countries. So it may that trade routes from Kazakhstan by Caspian Sea, Azerbaijan and Turkey and Europe. So therefore, implementing all the modern technologies, including digitalization, and then making it friendly, ecologically friendly, and exporting green ideas into global politics. I think it will be one of the first steps making these international organizations like European Union and many other regional organizations. Because one of the differences of organization of Turkey, we have a natural basis, natural foundation of this organization, which is Turkishness, common history, common language, etc. Those identities, those values, I think, will make even stronger this organization states for the long term. So therefore, implementing all the innovative technologies is a timely and very important steps for all the member states at the current stage.
Nurbolat Nushanbayev, Onur Erim, thank you very much for this discussion. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
That wraps up this special edition of Context, where we have explored the informal summit of the Organization of Turkic States in Budapest, an event rich in symbolism and geopolitical undercurrents. Thank you to our guests for their insights, and to you, our viewers, for joining us. Stay with us for more in-depth analysis on global developments.